Hey Sandra, are you there? I just wanted to let you know that I told my mom the dates that we figured out for our wedding. And I showed her some of the pictures that we took when we went out to check out the venue.
Oh, okay, good to know. What did your mom think? Did she have anything to say?
Oh, you know how she is always. She just said that's nice and continued about her business.
I see. So basically we got nothing from that. Are you sure your mom approves of us getting married?
Sure she does. I mean, I know that if you think about it, I am pretty sure my mom is okay with this. Or at the very least, even if she isn't thrilled about it, I don't think that she's against it or anything, especially since before she was always bugging me about when I'd get married. So I don't actually think she'd complain to me now that I actually am.
Guess so, but I certainly get the impression that I'm not the kind of person she imagined marrying you.
I know that you think that, but what is it that you think my mom doesn't like about you?
I think it's because my family came from the country, and I guess your mom might think that I'm a hick or something like that.
I mean, you could be right about that, but I don't see anything wrong with that, and I actually really like your family. Both of your parents have been so nice and welcoming to me, and I'm really grateful for it. The only one to be complaining about any of this at all is my mom.
Oh, well, I really am glad that you like my parents that much. I know that both my parents are big fans of you as well. And I think that my family has plenty to offer and can't just be written off for where they come from. But I just wish that there was a good way to make your mom see all of this.
Well, I can try talking to her and really explaining just how good your family really is. But just know that no matter what she says, I'm still marrying you.
And that makes me really happy to have you say that, but I still wish that your mom wouldn't act like this. I mean, I'm about to marry her son, and it feels like she doesn't want me to.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think we need to give my mom time to get to know you better. Then she'll see how good you are for me and what a good couple we are. I know that she'll come around, so just be patient and focus on the wedding for now. You know, I still feel so lucky to have you in my life, Sandra. I mean, I really can't think of anyone else who I'd like to spend my life with. Not only that, but you really are just so beautiful. I could just spend all day staring into your big, gorgeous eyes.
What is all this about? Do you really like looking at me that much, Anthony?
Of course I do. I love you, and I really like your family as well. I've enjoyed the times that we've spent to visit with your parents. They are always eating the freshest foods straight from their garden and even send us home with some stuff. I mean, what could there even be to dislike about that? Especially when the quality of the food that they're giving us is the kind that we'd have to shell out extra for in a normal grocery store.
I have to say that I was pretty surprised by just how much you seemed to like being out there. But only in a good way. I was just happy that you weren't judging my family at all. After all, your mom isn't the only person to look down on me for where my family is from.
Well, I don't think that way in the slightest, but it is true that I don't have a single relative that lives the way that your parents do. So maybe that's why ever since I was little, I've dreamed about living on a big farm or ranch, just to be able to escape the hustle and bustle and noise of the city. When you come home, sound is so nice. But my mom is just the opposite. I think that back in her day, kids from the farm were bullied and looked down on more than our generation.
Well, you know that it's not all beautiful sunsets and fresh produce, right? I mean, out there's also lots of bugs and pests, and there's hardly anything to do in town, too.
I know, but it's not like you're bringing any of those negatives from the countryside with you when you visit my mom. But also, your brother is taking over the family farm anyways, right? Not only that, but your parents also said that when they retired, they were going to settle into a retirement home. Isn't that right?
That's what they said. They have a decent amount saved up over the years and said they didn't want to be a burden on us kids.
And I've tried explaining all that to my mom as well, but no matter how many times I try to tell her, she just doesn't seem to get it.
Well, I don't think that your mom's dislike for the country comes from any real logic or good reason. I think maybe she was just raised a different way and hasn't gotten over her biases.
I guess. But I think that we should let her get away with that just because she's older. But also at this point, I just hope that she won't make any trouble for us in the future. Especially considering that my mom is basically only going to have her pension to live off. So when she finally settles down, I think that the duty of taking care of her is going to fall on me. I mean, of course I have my sister as well, but as the eldest child, I think it'll mostly be my job.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. But that would mean that I would also be taking care of her, right?
I mean, I certainly wouldn't hope that you would leave me to do it all by myself, but yes, I think that's the situation.
Of course not. I'd love to help out in any way that I can. I just hope that your mom and I can become closer before that happens.
Well, thanks again so much for talking to me about this. I'll think of what I can try to say to Mom, but I just don't know what to do these days.
I understand, but the most important thing for me right now is trying to become closer to her. I mean, I know that we'll all have a long time to do so since you and I are getting married, but still.
I know what you mean, and I really am sorry that this is even an issue in the first place, but I just hope that Mom actually liked the venue I showed her. I told her about how the catering company we were looking at had some of her favorite dishes, but she just gave me the same stoic response.
Yeah, that woman really is inscrutable, but hopefully with time we can see more eye to eye.
Hey there, Sandra. I just wanted to let you know that I tried talking to my mom.
Oh no, it doesn't sound like you're about to tell me very good news.
Well, it's actually about the day of the wedding. My mom wants me to go and pick up my grandparents and bring them here.
Wait, what? I thought you said that your sister was going to be doing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to, but I guess that her car broke down the other day, and it won't be repaired in time before the wedding.
Oh no, that really sucks. Tell her that I'm sorry that happened, but I still don't get why you would have to go. I mean, it's literally your wedding day, and it's probably best if we just stick close to the venue, don't you think? Besides, will you even have the time to be able to go and get them?
Well, my mom was saying that the groom really doesn't have all that much of a role in the wedding until the very end, so I guess she really wants me to go and get my grandparents.
I can understand that, but it doesn't mean that there aren't things that you need to do to get ready for when I walk down the aisle. And what happens if you get caught in traffic while you're out? What would we do then?
I've been thinking about that as well, but my mom really insistent about this. She really said that she wanted me to spend more time with my grandparents and that I should be trying to make good final memories with them.
I mean, it's not that I don't respect the sentiment or anything, but shouldn't there be other memories that you try and make on the day of your wedding?
Sandra, you and I are absolutely on the same side with all of this, but I just couldn't turn down my mom. She just kept asking me over and over again.
I see. Well, I guess it sounds like you're going to pick up your grandparents then.
I really did try and tell my mom that it wouldn't work. I told her that I'd be too busy to do that, and then my mom told me that I was being ungrateful for all the good things that my grandparents did for me. She kept getting more angry and upset with me, and she kept making me feel bad about not doing it, that eventually I just folded.
Oh wow, I'm really sorry to hear that, Anthony. I hope she wasn't too upset with you.
I mean, it had been a while since I saw her get worked up like that, I think. But man, it was more annoying than anything. It's that she refuses to accept that I'm an adult with my own life and responsibilities now. But I didn't want to tell her now and have her in a sour mood on the day of our wedding either. So anyways, I'm just sorry about all of this.
You don't have anything to apologize for. I mean, none of this is your fault anyways. And besides, you're right about it being a good idea to try and make sure your mom is happy the day of our wedding.
I just want the wedding to go smoothly and as little drama as possible. It's too important a day to let these petty gripes ruin it. But I just don't get it. I mean, I'm still living at home with her. So why are we going to the wedding separately in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I'm sure that your mom has her reasons, and it's not like you don't have 2 cars, so I guess it doesn't not make sense. But just please try and be quick about getting your grandparents and coming back, okay?
Of course, I would really hate for anything to delay you and I getting married. I promise that I'll do my best to not be late, okay?
And tell your parents that I'm sorry for all the rushing that they'll probably be doing on that day as well.
Well, I think that it's my mom who owes them an apology for deciding all of this, but I'm sure that it'll be fine.
I'm just glad that you guys have 2 cars to be dealing with all of this. I guess that means that you'll take the big car and I'll take the smaller one with your mom?
Sounds good, but I really am sorry for all this. I'm pretty upset at my mom for putting this in my lap at the last second. Our wedding should be a day where we only think of each other.
I know, but I'm sure that your mom has her reasons for this as well. And at the end of the day, it sounds like she's trying to bring the family closer together, so I can't fault that.
You really are too kind. Do you know that, Sandra? You don't deserve to have your wedding day messed up like this either. But man, my mom can get a bit scary when she gets angry about stuff like this.
It's okay. I think I've gotten used to the idea of her acting like this for now. Hello there, Anthony. I don't know if you've heard, but your wedding is canceled.
Mom, what are you talking about? What do you mean my wedding is canceled?
I know that Sandra isn't going to be showing up to the wedding. You see, she was in a car accident and now she can't even move. So I'm afraid that you two will just have to cancel your wedding, but how about we go out for a family lunch instead?
Hold on a second. Just what do you think you're doing, messaging me on a day like this? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think I am? I think that I'm your mother, so how about that?
Oh, really? Because I don't think of you as a mother at all. So how about that?
What in the world are you talking about, Anthony? What has gotten into you?
I mean, that I know that you messed with the car that Sandra was going to take. And anyone who would do that to my wife is no family member of mine.
I have no idea what you're talking about at all.
Oh, come on. I know that you sabotaged the car that Sandra took. She even told me that. You said you'd just take a taxi to the venue at the last second. And now you pretend like nothing has happened? You just want to go out for a family lunch? Are you that opposed to me getting married?
Anthony, I'm sorry, but I really have no idea what's gotten into you or why you're so upset right now.
Oh, just give it a rest, Mom. I know that it was you that did it. Just be honest with me.
I am being honest with you, and I am telling you that I have no idea what you're talking about. Why should I be against you marrying Sandra? Oh, wait, that's right. It's because I know what's best for you, and I can tell you that it certainly isn't her.
Aha. So you do admit that you really are against us getting married, but you really don't know what you're talking about, because I'm the one that doesn't deserve Sandra. And the only person in our whole family who has a problem with her is you. But even so, I didn't think that you'd go so far as to try to sabotage a car that Sandra would drive on the street. You caused this accident.
Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. How can you accuse me of causing the accident? I wasn't the one behind the wheel. Do you have any proof of what you're saying? Hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear from me, Sandra. And yes, if you must know, I have plenty of evidence. I even have someone that you confessed thinking of this plan to. Wait, Sandra? How can this be? What's going on? You made it to the wedding? I had to call a taxi, but yes, I made it to my own wedding despite your best attempts to stop me. As for you, well, I think you can probably already imagine the kind of car trouble I was having before it stopped moving. But you do realize that you've committed a crime, right? Neither of you know what you're talking about at all. It wasn't like that. I didn't do anything. Look, I get that you really, really don't like me, but you didn't have to take things this far. Shut up! You don't get to tell me what to do! You think that a country hick like you can just waltz into my family? And just what about where I come from upsets you so much? How does my coming from the country even affect you? It affects me because I know that you joining my family means that your lousy hick parents are going to try and steal everything. You are literally the only person saying any of these things about my parents. I mean, even Anthony's grandparents say that they really like me and don't care at all about my background. Well, I don't care. I don't want a lousy daughter-in-law like you, got it? Besides, I know for a fact that my daughter hates you. No, you're not right about that either. Anthony's sister is actually completely supportive. Well, that can't be right. She talks bad about you all the time. She says that she can't stand the idea of you becoming her sister-in-law. Oh, she may have thought that, but that was only because you were giving her faulty information. But Anthony and I have made sure to clear up any misunderstandings you might have been causing. It was your sister, wasn't it? She was the one who told you about what I did to the car, didn't she?
That's right. Actually, she arrived about the same time that Sandra did to the wedding venue. She showed her some of the texts that you've been sending, talking about all your plans.
I don't believe it. Betrayed by my own child. I really thought that I could trust her with that.
Come on, did you really think that anyone would be okay with a plan like this? If you actually thought that anyone would back up this horrible behavior that you've been exhibiting, then that's on you. In fact, you complain so much about Sandra, but the fact is, you've never given her a fair chance.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. Can't you see that she's just fooling you? She doesn't have your best interests at heart. You don't know anything at all. I am your mother and I know best.
No, Mom, you're the one who's completely clueless about everything, and you certainly don't know what you're talking about when it comes to Sandra. All you do is focus on the fact that her family lives out in the country. But if anyone should be embarrassed about their families, then I'm the one that should be embarrassed to be related to you.
Anthony, how could you say that to your own mother? What is the matter with you?
I'm only telling you how I really feel. I mean, what if Sandra had seriously been injured? Thankfully, there wasn't any real accident. Sandra realized her car wasn't performing well, put on her hazards, and pulled over right away. But if she hadn't thought on her feet so quickly, she could have ended up hurt or dead. Is that what you wanted to happen to the woman I want to marry?
Of course not. That's not what I wanted to happen at all. I didn't know what might happen.
But that's just another lie. I've already seen the text, and you said that you don't care at all what happens to Sandra. You're nothing but a liar and a criminal, Mom.
But Sandra's safe, isn't she? I don't see what the big deal is if nothing actually happened to her.
If you think that you're going to get away with that just because Sandra wasn't hurt, you're dead wrong. I am never ever going to forgive you for this. Do you understand?
Please, son, I really don't think there's any need to be so upset with me. I mean, you just got married. A newlywed husband shouldn't have anything to be mad about. Oh, can't we just forgive each other in the spirit of the day?
Oh, I don't think you need to worry about our wedding day anymore. After all, you won't be participating. Even though you would have been here as my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law? Wait a second, is this Sandra?
That's right. Now about that little trap you tried to set for me. Well, I just have to say, I was shocked when I pieced it all together.
What do you mean? Oh, what's going on? What did you mean about me not participating in the wedding?
We talked to all the guests at the wedding here, and we agreed that it's best if you don't come. Even Anthony's grandparents agreed on that, so we're not going to let you show up, even if you do come. We've even told the staff to turn you away if you try and get in.
What are you talking about? You can't do this to me. You can't just keep me out of my own son's wedding.
Why? You never even wanted this wedding to take place in the first place, so why should we let you participate?
Oh, come on. You can't keep me away from this. This is my own son's wedding. You can't ban me from that.
Do you think that we're going to let you into a wedding where you tried to kill the bride? In fact, you should know that Anthony is never going to talk to you again. He has nothing but shame as far as you're concerned.
But, oh, this isn't fair. I was only trying to protect my family. I did it all for my family. How did it all come to this?
If you really can't understand why your own family wouldn't want anything to do with you after this, then maybe you really are too far gone. Because you need to understand that you tore your own family apart. I've done nothing but try to befriend you, and you literally tried to kill me. So I am really not in the mood to hear any of your victimization coming from you after this. Neither Anthony nor I are ever going to forgive you.
You can't do this to me! You're not just going to leave me like this, right? Oh, please, my family is all that I have left. Who's going to take care of me now? Hello? Are you even reading these messages? Hello? After that, Anthony's mom didn't even bother trying to come to our wedding, and thanks to her absence, we were all able to have a much, much better wedding than had she been there. If only we had thought to ban her from the wedding in the first place. Of course, Anthony was really upset about what his mother had tried to do to me, and I know it hurt him to realize the kind of person she was. A few days later, we got messages from relatives of Anthony, all bearing words of encouragement and criticism for his mom. Many said they were going to keep their distance from Anthony's mother or cut her off entirely like we had done. Either way, she was left with very few relatives who were even willing to talk to her. Of course, I don't imagine that she's reflected on why what she did was wrong, but she certainly suffered for what she tried to do to me, and I do my best to not even think about her anymore. Anthony and I have been far too busy enjoying the married life. I thought this whole episode would be a good obstacle to our honeymoon phase, but if anything, the absence of Anthony's mom has only been a positive for us. We've even gotten closer with Anthony's sister, who was so sorry for believing all the lies that her mother had told her about me before discovering the truth. So I guess in the end, the only real loser was my would-be mother-in-law.